Welcome to Oxford University's documentary production of Knight Training. Today you have the luxury of being introduced to four of the world's finest historians and scholars. Myself included, of course, Dr. Alexander Birtwistle. Accompanying me shall be three more of the world's finest scholars. You will now be introduced to them individually.
Greetings. I'm Peter Pemberton, Dr. Peter Pemberton.
Hello, my name is Dr. Nigel Humphreys.
Good evening. My name is Bernard Oldershaw.
Alrighty, good show. Now that you've been introduced to these fine scholars, we will now begin with our presentation on A Knight's Training, specially presented to you by BBC and Oxford University. To begin, we shall have Dr. Peter Pemberton to start explaining to you what it is like for a knight to begin his training.
To gain knighthood in medieval times was a long and arduous task. There were many steps to achieving knighthood, requiring years of training. Steps towards achieving knighthood started with training as a page and then as a squire, also referred to as an esquire. These sons of medieval nobles were sent to live in the castle of their liege lord and commence their education as a knight and learn the skills required as a medieval knight. Knighthood training began in an early childhood when a basic education and good manners, rules of etiquette were taught at home. At the age of 7, young boys were sent away to castles and homes of wealthy lords or relatives to embark on their knighthood training.
Thank you, Peter, for that wonderful information on a knight's early sources of training. Next, we shall have Dr. Nigel Humphrey come and introduce the next topic on knight training.
The different types and styles of knighthood training depend on the age, strength of the apprentice knights. The knighthood training was focused on weapons practice, which included enhancing skills in horsemanship, the two-handed sword, battle axe, mace, dagger, and lance. The medieval page of the medieval ages was little more than a child, but his training commenced from age of 7. The duties of a knight were seen as combat duties, and those duties related to serving the lord and ladies.
Thank you, Humphreys. Dr. Humphreys, I mean. Next up, we will have Bernard Oldershaw, previously introduced to you at the beginning of this video. He will explain the next few points.
The knighthood training of both the pages and the squires of the Middle Ages continued with acquiring excellent equestrian skills. A horse played an extremely important part in the life of a knight. A knight would own several horses which were built for different duties. Bigger and stronger horses were required as war horses. The courser was the most sought after and experienced war horse, owned by the most wealthy knights. The apprentice knights would learn how to ride and control their horses. And the art of this type of warfare, starting with the small ponies, they would hone their equestrian skills and their knighthood training. The pages and the squires were also expected to play their part of caring for the horses in the stables.
Thank you, Dr. Oldershaw. That was quite excellent indeed, and as informative as always. All this talk of knights reminds me of Chaucer's Canterbury Tale. What a great tale indeed. For the first character he introduces is the knight, of course. And he, of course, incorporates the much-needed aspect of a knight, chivalry. Chivalry was a code that knights lived by. That's why Chaucer decided to include this in his description of the knight in his Canterbury Tale. Well, that wraps up today's program. We hope you all enjoyed and you all learned something for the better. As always, signing off, Dr. Alexander Birtwistle. Good day.